This is a summary of the Jujutsu class from 5/18. I'm going to cover briefly, because I covered it before, doing Osoto Gari, Soto Momo, Uchi Momo Harai, and the body dynamics of those throws. And I'm also going to demonstrate Sasae Ashi and Deashi Harai and the dynamics of those throws, particularly the arms. The new thing for this class was doing Yawara number 6 through number 10, both variations. When you're doing Osoto Gari, or if you're doing Soto Momo, Uchi Momo Harai, you're coming in. You're going to attach your leg to their leg. You should be solidly attached all the way from ankle to shoulder, so that when you drive, the drive really comes from the whole body. So as you drive from there, really make sure that hip goes forward. The primary mistake that I'm still seeing, this is also true if you think about doing it from here and doing it as a forward-facing throw, is that I see people pulling from here, coming around, then here, either the hip stays in place and the upper body and lower body rotate around it, or it actually ends up going backwards. Both of those are very wrong, because both of those are going to push the person this way. If you're strong enough, have enough momentum, you might still get the throw off. But the idea is really to actually drive at a slight angle and everything from here to come forward, just as if you were punching with a reverse punch. If I was punching with a reverse punch, my hip was going backwards. If I literally send that hip going backwards as a counterweight, just so I can keep my balance, I'm robbing a punch of a lot of power. Similarly here, if I think about this, it's Soto Momo Harai, I'm pulling the person off balance. That pull is coming from this hook here. I'm locking them in, coming around. And then this, please watch my hip and watch the fact that my foot that's on the ground is going to pivot. It is actually going to pivot and go forward. So watch this again. Somebody put their hand right here. I should be hitting that hand by pivoting forward and driving from the shoulder and from the hip. It doesn't matter how high you get your leg. What matters is that everything drives, because you need to drive their shoulder and hip back. And if you just swing your leg up and they have long legs, it's not going to work. So that's the primary thing I would like people to fix. The other thing I want people to fix is when they're pulling off balance. A lot of people are pulling here and then kind of coming around. They pull, and then at best maybe keep the pull static as they move in. What should actually happen is your pull forward, like a hip throw, comes from the fact that this leg pivots. This hand is powered by this turn. That's true for Soto Momo Harai, that's true for Nage shoulder throw, that's true for any hip throw. As I pull around, because oftentimes this hand is going to have to reposition. So I'm here, I'm going to have to reposition, grab the shoulder, grab the head, drive the elbow in, or just drive up. And so I'm going to have to, everything comes off that first hook, and then this comes around. The other thing that's really important is that that second leg goes around far enough. We're not moving into any kind of hip throw, not just Soto Momo Harai, Uchi Momo Harai. When you're coming into here, this leg needs to go far enough. Most of the time, that leg doesn't go far enough, and then you can't get your hip out to actually create the throw. If I'm in here throwing and I only rotate this far, I can't get that hip out. So I have to hook and already create a lot of rotation from there, pulling them by me, and then get that hip all the way around. And then my throw happens. Whether that's a regular hip throw, shoulder throw, whatever it is, right from here. So if you're doing that with a belt attached and thrown over something and you're pulling, what I shouldn't see is everything being loose and then you moving in and then pulling. That's incorrect. That first step should establish a strong pull. So if I'm holding a belt or something, right here, there's already a lot of pull in this direction. Right here, and that stays maintained all the way through the throw. So this is true for any kind of forward-facing throw. Okay, so that adds into the Soto Momo Harai stuff I was talking about. The kazushi for that is the same. All right, now the Ashi Harai, lower foot sweep, or Sasae Ashi, foot stop. From here, the Ashi Harai sweeps across. My hips and my feet are going this way. My shoulder, my rib cage, everything from the waist up is going in the opposite direction. Everything from the waist down is going in that direction. So I'm coming in here, I'm sweeping. One of the really important things, if you notice, this foot has to face out. If that foot faces straight and you sweep across, putting a lot of pressure on that knee, plus you might lose your balance. You're gonna turn that foot out and bend that knee. So as you sweep across, you can actually sink into the ball of that foot a little bit and get a little more reach. As you get more pull, you get a lot more power that way. One other thing I want you to see is a lot of people just pull from this arm. It's the whole waist, it's everything that's pulling. What's gonna happen is here, I'm gonna grab the gi, and I'm gonna drive from there as well. So if you look at this from the top, my hands are actually connected, and are both going. Sasae Ashi is much the same, in that we're going in different directions. The only difference is, with the Ashi Harai, I am actually sweeping. With Sasae Ashi, I step forward and I just stop that foot from going anywhere. While I pull their upper body at first onto me, then past me, and then throw them. So big difference here. This sweeps across on this plane, and Sasae Ashi doesn't sweep. It just stops the foot. I'm looking this way and pulling them onto me and past me, and then throw. So there's a breakdown of a couple of things I already worked on before, but I want you to really see. Please also look and Deashi right where my elbows are. This palm is out and the elbows are up. With Sasae Ashi, the elbows are really up. Here's the Ashi Harai, a little more closer to the horizontal axis, and this is really on the oblique coming across on Sasae Ashi. A lot of times people pay too much attention to the feet and don't really see the pull from the upper body. For those of us who have shorter legs, you gotta have a lot of drive with the upper body, as well as whatever your feet are doing. Okay, so that's the review of the Nage. Now, Yawara. One thing I want you to do when you're doing these Yawara, instead of just walking through them without a person and feeling less engaged, is really issue power from your whole body into the technique in a way that most people don't when they have a partner. So your outside wrist release really looks sharp. You're coming in, drive with your whole body striking that, and then coming back. So you can issue the kind of power that you'd rarely actually use to get someone in class without injuring them. So I want you to think about that when we do all these techniques. Lapel grab, number 6. You're gonna punch the hand with this hand. You're gonna grab and punch with these knuckles into the hand that's holding this side. Boom, driving down. Then you're gonna rotate your hips till the other elbow's up, and drive down and come back. So at an angle, drive down, switch your hips up, drive and come back. Really feel that figure 8 that you're driving down and coming back. On the other side, drive, figure 8, and another figure 8. Yep, really feel that power. So, one more time. Second one. Don't step back, but don't step in. Just kind of drop in place. And what I would like you to do is this hand doesn't hit out. It just pulls right by, and it's going to pull right into the thumb and drop. This one is going to spiral in. It's going to spiral right into that elbow and extend out and down. So most people kind of do this as a diagonal hit. I think it's more subtle than that. I think this snake's across the elbow and drops. This pulls by into that thumb, and then that happens by opening up the whole body. And then drives. All right, so you're opening up the hands, grabbing the head, and striking. So again, your whole body's engaged. Next one, 4-finger grab. Lift, cut. Lift, strike. You're lifting from the back of the wrist and then striking in with the palm. Keep this hand also active. Next one, you're going to turn that hand over, place this hand on the hip, drop your back foot and sink. So you're driving those fingers off. So you're driving the thumb off, but the power is coming from the hip. So you're recycling that power so you can come right back in if we need to. Okay, those are the finger escapes. Number 7. Okay, number 8. Number 8 are a little harder to imagine doing. Just solo. You're coming in, and what you're going to do is use your thumb. So take this finger, and put the hold on. You can also do it on this finger. Control it, grab the wrist, establish your hold. That one is harder to engage your whole body. Believe it or not, you still can, but it's a lot more subtle. The next one's the thumb break. Turn your thumb out this way. This time, somebody is grabbing. You're going to cross wrist grab. You're going to come in, grab their thumb, grab their fingers, and separate. Grab their thumb and fingers. Even here, you can create a lot of power using your core, much more than you obviously would, unless you're going to actually break someone's hand. Okay, come along. Look and push the opposite shoulder while the real stuff is actually happening here. This touches the forearm. This foot already starts to hook in. And then turn. Same from the other side. When I turn, really feel that I'm not turning this with the arm, but that the turn is coming from the torso, from my entire core. Second come along, I'm going to grab that elbow. Grab that elbow and grab the top of those knuckles. Here's your lock. They're facing this way. Everything is locked up. You're going to take that out 180 degrees, and it's locked in. 1, 2. It should be locked up after that first motion. You have to make sure to get that elbow locked to you. Pulling this elbow in makes the other shoulder rotate away. Makes it harder for them to hit you with the other hand. At the same time, you're creating a lock here, and now you're establishing that lock so you can walk them. Please note again, I'm not just moving my arms. My whole body is engaged in every movement, especially for the upper ranks. Okay. Next, that was number 9, the 2 come-alongs. Number 10, katate-dori. Somebody's pushing you on the chest, either with one hand or with 2 hands, you're going to parry. If you're going to parry with 2 hands, this hand has to come to the other shoulder. If you bring this hand up here and the hand goes there, you're going to be on the one side of the arm. Or there. I want you to see that when I parry this, as we worked with Narissa Sensei before, do you see how this is connected to my center? Yeah? That I'm using my whole body here and then breaking. And again, it's not 1, 2. There's a figure 8 that's going to happen where you're going to utilize that momentum and return it. And again, using your whole torso. So as the push comes, 1, 2. Yeah? I usually, especially against taller people, have to rotate out a little bit away from this foot and then rotate again to take that arm away from them so they pull it right back, but then it goes out here. Okay. If somebody pushes deeper, you're going to do the same thing but bigger. You're going to rotate all the way around and then rotate all the way back. Okay? So again, from here, 1, 2. To do it in the opposite direction, 1. See, everything is loaded up and grabbed there, and 2. The only way you can really make that happen smoothly is not just to go, if you go on the same plane, you have to stop here before you start to go there again. If instead you go down and then rise, you can create a figure 8 that continues the motion. So you got to really think about this happening on 3 dimensions. Yeah? So the push comes, 1, 2. Yeah? If you notice, there is a downward motion before you go up and return. You can make that figure 8 very tight, right? That figure 8 could be 1, 2, but there is still a dropping and a lifting that's happening that's just much smaller. So this is the bigger version. 1, 2. Make sure you stay on the balls of your feet, so as you pivot, you don't do anything bad to your knees or ankles. Okay, and that is the Yawara, numbers 6 through 10.